Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about somebody who's closely affiliated with Nipsey Hussle. Now, for those of you who don't know or have been living under a rock lately, Nipsey Hussle lost his life in a tragic shooting incident that made national news and it spawned a lot of speculation out there, right? And Cowboy has been the target in a lot of that speculation and a lot of the rumors and a lot of the conspiracy theories out there about Nipsey Hussle's death. Now, Cowboy has a really good take about this situation. I mean, I should say his perspective on how things played out is great to hear because he was right there when Nipsey Hussle lost his life. Not to say Nipsey Hussle losing his life was a good thing, but his account of the events of that day and the things afterwards, you know, they have a lot more weight to them than just hearing rumors online. Now, he was recently on No Jumper's platform where he did a 2-hour interview where he talked about the day that Nipsey Hussle lost his life up to the second that Nipsey Hussle went on to the ambulance and all of that, right? His exchange between him and Eric Holder, the guy who allegedly took Nipsey Hussle's life and, you know, was the person who's being accused of shooting Nipsey Hussle, and a lot more details that were eye-opening. He also wanted to address some of the rumors out there about this tape and things like that, and kind of threw a diss at Wack 100 in the process. Now, before we get to the specifics and talk about all the details, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, let's talk about Cowboy in this No Jumper interview where he was dropping, man, it's some knowledge. Like, he was letting it be known a lot of things that people didn't have any idea about. Now, I would encourage all of you to listen to this interview, especially if you've been locked in and keyed in on this Nipsey Hussle story. You know, ever since he lost his life, sad situation, the marathon still continues, right? Now, I'm in full support of Nipsey Hussle and his movement and everything he did as a rapper, up to losing his life and everything they've done thereafter, right? There's been a lot of people who have come out to criticize Nipsey Hussle as he's passed away, and it seems like those people who were close in his circle, like Cowboy, are all taking notice, man. And Cowboy basically went to dissing Wack 100 and other people like that who have said things about Nipsey Hussle that you could say are disparaging, right? But another thing that he did was he talked about, and I got to talk about this first, he talked about the day that Nipsey Hussle lost his life and some of the rumors that are out there about his exchange with Eric Holder, a.k.a., you know, I ain't even going to say his street name. We're going to say Eric Holder. Now, Cowboy was there during the whole exchange between Nipsey Hussle and Eric Holder. This is what he said during the interview. And he said that Nipsey Hussle never called Eric Holder a snitch. Now, that is something that was almost gospel on social media and on, you know, most videos about the situation. We've seen big Vlad interviews where people talked about the situation, you know, that's been brought up. But Cowboy said he was right there, heard the whole conversation, and basically it went like this. Like, Nipsey Hussle was talking to Eric Holder, allegedly, right? And told him that, you know, what's up, man? You know, it was a friendly conversation, and let him know, like, hey, man, you got to watch out around here because they say they got some paperwork on you. Now, could he have taken that the wrong way? Maybe, but based on what Cowboy said, it was actually a polite conversation. He was like, man, people hating on me. Now, Cowboy also went on to claim that Eric Holder looked like he had been under the influence of a substance. Now, he named several different substances, and he said he could just tell in his eyes that something was up. But at the end of things, they all dapped each other up. He went and got his food, and nothing was wrong. It was like a friendly conversation, a light conversation. It wasn't even no issue or anything like that. And that really goes against the narrative that Nipsey Hussle called Eric Holder a snitch, and that's what led to him going crazy, you know, and getting irate and going and getting a gun and taking Nipsey Hussle's life, allegedly, right? But Cowboy, he refutes that. He says, no, that did not happen. People need to stop saying that. And he was right there during the whole conversation. So I'm like, okay, now that's a different take. And the fact that he was right there holds a lot more weight than what you hear on social media. You know what I mean? Now, dude is currently locked up or whatnot. And, you know, he turned himself in immediately to some sort of hospital or facility or something like that. And based on what Cowboy is saying, he's been locked up several times since the incident. And he says that dude is having a rough time at it in jail. You know, he's really getting that treatment, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Now, that wasn't the only rumor that Cowboy wanted to squash. He also wanted to talk about this situation with this tape, or this alleged tape, where Wack 100 said that he's been saving Nipsey because there's a tape out there of Nipsey doing some crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? That some guy has that he was holding over his head and that he's been saving Nipsey. Now, Cowboy came out with his chest full out and said, man, release the tape then. Because Nipsey isn't the type to be paying somebody to hold the tape or anything like that. And he talked about the situation between Nipsey and his baby mom and said that it just didn't, you know, what Wack 100 was saying about Nipsey and his baby moms and the tape and stuff, it just doesn't mesh with what he knew about Nipsey, his baby mom, in that situation. You know what I mean? He said it just didn't make sense. And he made some digs at anybody who's been dropping anything disrespectful about Nipsey Hussle since he passed away. There's been several people who have, man, they've gone viral doing that, you know, dissing Nipsey Hussle. It's several. Now, it's not a lot. Like, the overwhelming opinion about Nipsey Hussle is good, man. Most people have good feelings about Nipsey Hussle, and most people look at him as sort of a positive guy, even though he was a gangbanger. And I hate to throw that in there, even though he was a part of a gang, I should say. I can't say he was out there banging. He was an artist. Let's keep it real, man. He wasn't in the streets watching the block or looking around corners, seeing each car. You know, he wasn't at that stage of things. He might have been at one point in his life, but really he was a music artist. And most people like Nipsey Hussle. You know what I'm saying? It's an overwhelming response. If I was to put a percentage on it, I'd say probably like 90%. And some of that even includes people who used to quote unquote be his enemies. You feel me? And Cowboy just wanted to clear some things up. He wanted to make sure that he put it out there that he doesn't believe that there's a tape, and that if it is, go ahead and drop it. And a lot of people have taken that stance on this situation because it seems like, you know, anytime somebody positive dies, you know, there's always something to come and disparage, you know, their legacy or throw some dirt on them after they've passed away. And it seems like it happens in hip hop a lot, especially if it's a positive person. You know, you automatically have people come in and throw dirt on their name without any proof or anything like that. And that's pretty much what I got from what Cowboy was saying. And he was kind of throwing some disses at Wack 100. I ain't gonna lie, man. He kind of cleaned it up and tried to just chill, but obviously he wanted to tell his story as well. And in the interview, you learn that Cowboy is way older than Nipsey. You know, he was Nipsey's big homie for real. Like, he's an older dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, and his story and his tough life makes for an interesting video, man. It was a good interview. So I suggest everybody check that out. And especially if you want to hear somebody, if you want to take Cowboy's word for it, I know a lot of people think that Cowboy had something to do with it and all that. And I'm not saying that that's true at all. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's false at all. I don't know. But based on what he said in that interview, it gives you a different perspective. So I'd say go check it out because he goes on to dispel a lot of rumors that are out there. And this is his first time officially speaking out. Now, with that, this has been your hold up. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that Cowboy might be doing some damage control or something like that? I mean, I'll say this too before we get out of here. He seems to be flying a lot of money, man. If you look at his IG, he's got a lot of money. But from where he comes from, you know, they got a reputation for having a lot of money. So I can't hold that against him. And he's got a lot of things that he's doing on the back end. So we'll see where that goes from there. But with that, this has been your boy, Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell. So that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.